Early voting in Florida for the 2024 election is starting soon. Registered voters can go to any location designated by their county as an early voting center and cast a paper ballot just as they would on Election Day. Registered voters can also cast their ballots by mail or drop mail-in ballots off or go to the polls on November 5. As part of election reform legislation in Florida, early voting has been an option in the state since 2002, like it is in many states across the nation. When does early voting start and end in Florida? Early voting dates and times vary in Florida. The state says early voting starts at least on the 10th day before Election Day, October 26, and ends on the 3rd day before Election Day, November 2, although supervisors of elections are allowed to offer additional early voting on the 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, or 2nd day before the election, according to Florida's State Department. That means the last day to vote early in some areas can be as late as November 3. For Miami-Dade County, early voting runs from October 21 to November 3. The hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. For Broward County, early voting runs from October 21 to November 3. The hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. For Monroe County, early voting runs from October 21 to November 3. The hours are 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. To vote in person, voters need to bring a valid photo identification with their signature on it. Those who do not bring proper ID can still vote with a provisional ballot. It will count if the signature on the provisional ballot matches the signature in their registration record. Different types of identification are acceptable. Where can Florida mail-in ballots be dropped off early? Florida voters who have requested a vote-by-mail ballot can mail the ballot or deposit it in a secure drop box at their county elections office until 7 p.m. on Election Day. Voters also can deposit their ballot in a secure drop box at early voting locations. To find where and when mail-in ballots can be dropped off at secure drop boxes, voters can visit their county supervisors of elections website. Supervisor of Elections information for each county, including for Miami-Dade, Broward, Monroe, Orange, and Palm Beach counties, can be found here. In the 2024 legislative session, a bill died that would have only allowed vote by mail by those who can't vote on Election Day or early voting. How to find the early voting locations in your Florida county. The 67 county elections supervisors choose the early voting locations. You can find your county on the Secretary of State website. Voters are allowed to vote at any of their county's early voting sites. Ballots can be filled out at Supervisor of Elections offices. In Miami-Dade County, there are 33 locations. In Broward County, there are 29 locations. In Monroe County, there are 2 locations. In Orange County, there are 22 locations. In Palm Beach County, there are 29 locations. Does Florida release early voting results before Election Day? The elections offices tabulate the ballots, but information is not released until polls close at 7 p.m. Early votes are usually the first votes to be listed in the vote totals. The offices publicly post the number of ballots cast and by party. What's on the ballot in Florida for the 2024 election? Besides the presidential election, the Florida ballot includes races for U.S. Senate, all 28 congressional districts, 6 Florida constitutional amendment proposals, 40 Florida Senate districts, 120 state house districts, county school boards, and county offices. The 2 amendment proposals that have drawn the most attention are Amendments 3 and 4, which will decide marijuana legalization and abortion rights in the state. 2 of 7 justices on the Florida Supreme Court are also on the ballot in a retention election, as are some circuit and county judges.